Okay, we should be live. Thank you for tuning in, folks. We have got coverage for the Belgian Grand Prix free practice 2 session starting in 15 minutes time. Not long to go till we get underway, and yeah, I'd like to thank everyone that's tuned in right at the start of the stream. Very much is appreciated. If you are enjoying them, be sure to hit the like button. Well, I guess there's not much to enjoy since it's just started, but yeah. Right, well, let's get into it. FP1, not too many things surprising us, to be honest. We had a couple of drivers going a bit wide on a few corners, namely going wide through turn number 7, turn number 9. A couple of drivers going wide there. We saw Oscar Piastri with a bit of with the rear sliding going through turn number 13. Both Mercs were running very, very low to the ground, and they were getting quite a bit of bouncing. So we'll see if that has been rectified in the break between FP1 and FP2, and yeah, not too much else really. For any of you folks that did not watch F1, I know quite a lot of you people might have missed it because of the time zones. In FP1 we had, we talked about a lot of the upgrades that were brought. There are 7 teams with upgrades this weekend. 3 of the 3 teams that haven't brought upgrades are Red Bull, Aston Martin and Williams. Now, Red Bull and Aston Martin both brought massive upgrades last weekend out, and hence they will not be they don't have any upgrades packaged up for this weekend, but it's fair, it's fine. They brought upgrades last weekend, so no worries there, and Williams just a little bit behind on their schedule, so that is why they haven't got any upgrades either. Alright, yeah, let's have a read. No face reveal planned. Unfortunately, no face reveal planned. I prefer to stay anonymous, but I don't know, maybe when I hit 100k, that might change. Might have a little webcam of me somewhere up on the screen. Maybe not. Not really sure, to be honest. Okay, F1, love your F1 videos. F1 Gamer, you're the best commentary channel. I missed 3 hours ago, but I'm here now. Well, thank you very much. Yeah, don't worry about missing a live stream or so. It is practice after all, not too important. But yeah, we have got the drivers now making their way to the garages and getting into. Yeah, we've got the drivers making their way into the garage and getting into the cars, really. Do you think Oscar can be a future World Drivers' Championship, World Drivers' Champion? I indeed think he could be. I'm going to be honest with you here. Oscar Piastri, cool, calm, collected. That is 3 words that I've been using to describe him for the past couple, for last week and this week. And, he's really stood up to that and done a fantastic job. So, yeah, I think Oscar definitely does have it within him to score some real good points and potentially a championship. Yeah. Hey F1 Gamer, hope you've had a good week. Indeed I have. There's been a lot of F1 drama and I've been keeping up to date with it. It's been very, very exciting and fun. Yeah, we're here at Spa, of course, the longest circuit on the calendar. It's 7 kilometers long in total. The drivers will be doing around about 43 laps of racing here on Sunday. And yeah, very, very long lap. So one thing that isn't a concern for the drivers that normally is getting in each other's way and having traffic behind you. But on such a long circuit, traffic is much less of an issue, mainly just because of the fact that everyone else is so much more spread out compared to normal. Yeah. Right. What else have we got to talk about? What do you think about? What do you think about how Lando acted towards Lewis last weekend? The thing he said. Well, see, this is the thing. Lewis even clarified this later. He didn't really take much offense to it. This was in the cool-down room after the session, after the race had just finished, where Norris had to give up the lead to Oscar. He was obviously very annoyed by the fact that he had to give up that lead, even though he felt that he deserved it. So yeah, he was not in a great mental state, really. And then Lewis said something that was misinterpreted by Lando Norris. And, he said something that he probably wouldn't, say if he was given the second opportunity. And, yeah, I think it's just a thing that happens when the drivers are sort of in these frame of minds. Something that happens, and nothing to really be concerned about, and I don't think Hamilton cares too much either. We've just got the telemetry here comparing Oscar Piastri and Max Verstappen, and just looking at their lap times, and well, not the lap times, the telemetry itself, and it looks like the McLaren's slightly quicker in the straights, and in all of the corners, Max Verstappen carries an extra 1, an extra 4, an extra 7, and especially turn number. Oh, it's just gone off the screen now. But yeah, Verstappen carrying more speed through the corners compared to the McLaren, and especially there was this one specific corner where Verstappen gained a load of time, and Piastri seemed to lose a lot of speed, and I think that was Puon. Puon, a corner that requires a serious amount of commitment. You've got to say, you just got to turn the car left. You got to lift off the throttle a little bit and just turn it left, and hope that it sticks effectively, which most of the time it does. But Piastri, of course, playing a little bit safe. It is free practice 1. The drivers know that they have to build into the session, build into the weekend, and there's no point going all guns blazing in free practice 1. When is sprint qualifying? This weekend we do not have a sprint race. Last year out in Belgium there was a sprint weekend, but this weekend we just have free practice 1, free practice 2, free practice 3, and then quali and the race. So yeah, qualifying is tomorrow, and the race is on Sunday, of course. What did he say? Okay, so this was talking about what did Lando Norris say to Lewis. Lewis said, "Oh, your car was really quick," and Lando was like, "Oh, you've had a really quick car for 7 years, and you've had your time in the quick car," or something along those lines. But yeah, it's nothing really to read into. The media blows it up way more than it should be, and. Yeah, I mean, that's just the thing with the media, isn't it? They've got to make a headline out of something, and if there's nothing to make a headline out of, they'll just manufacture a fake headline. Oh, got to go in 20 minutes. Yeah, that's no worries. Verstappen on whole, cool. Well, we don't know. He was quicker through the corners, but of course, McLaren will have modified their setup. They will have gained some insight from the telemetry. If Sky Sports has the telemetry, then McLaren most definitely do have the telemetry, and they'll be looking to see what the other teams are doing, and where they can gain lap time compared to Red Bull. We've already hit our like target, which is fantastic, folks. If you are enjoying, then be sure to hit the like button. We've got 500 people tuned into the live stream. That is brilliant. What else have we got going on? Nothing much exciting, really. Well, not nothing much exciting. We've got a fair amount of stuff that will happen. Free practice 2 F2 was fairly exciting. There was a qualifying session, a couple of drivers having some incidents there in the junior formula, but we'll see what happens in free practice 2. Nothing too much of a concern. We'll probably have some more qualifying simulations, and I'm going to check the weather again, and I have a feeling that it will be saying that it'll be raining in Spa, so I shall search up Spa forecast, the forecast at Spa, and hopefully it still says 70 to 80% chance of rain. That would make the weekend very, very exciting. When I checked earlier this morning, that is what it said. So here we go. It's just loaded. It says it will be raining from 9 o'clock. Yeah, from 9 p.m. Spa time, all through the night, all throughout the day, up until Saturday morning and Saturday afternoon. It'll only stop raining at 6 p.m., maybe 7 p.m. Spa time, which is well after when qualifying will have finished. So we do have a wet qualifying session on our hands, folks. Yeah. Verstappen, he does have a 10-place grid penalty. That is very, very true. Where do you think Ricciardo will go up? Well, Ricciardo... Actually, talking about the AlphaTauris have a very, very quick top speeds this weekend. They were doing 341 kilometers per hour down the Kemmel Straight, where everyone else was doing 330, 335 maybe. So they were very, very quick down the straights. which is good for them. We'll see if they modify the setup a little bit. What did you ask? Where do you think Ricciardo will go? Well, Ricciardo, I think he'll stay at AlphaTauri. Now, the question remains, will Sergio Perez get dropped? There have been a lot of rumours, a lot of talk, but Perez does have a 2-year contract, and there will be something in that contract, I suspect, that will say, if you're not quick enough, we can just fire you with no consequences. And yeah, I think if that firing is to occur, then Daniel Ricciardo might be the right candidate to step up, because you have to consider this situation, right? At Red Bull, they need a second driver that has past experience, that has a lot of knowledge of the Red Bull car, how they work, and they need to start delivering points immediately, because as it stands, Red Bull are really at a sort of critical turning point, and they could be under threat from McLaren to potentially lose the World Constructors' Championship. So by the looks of that, Red Bull needs someone that can deliver, and they need someone that can deliver immediately. So Yuki Tsunoda, I'm not saying that Yuki Tsunoda is a bad driver, but Tsunoda does not have that sort of experience when right at the top of the pack. Daniel Ricciardo previously driven at Red Bull, and I think he would be the ideal candidate if they want to do a mid-season switch, maybe start this fresh season out. Then Yuki Tsunoda would probably be better, but if they want to do a mid-season switch to maximize their points by the final race of the season, Yuki Tsunoda is probably the correct driver. Daniel Ricciardo is probably the correct driver to go with. And yeah, McLaren only 50 points off Red Bull in the Constructors' Championship. And if it keeps going at this rate, with Sergio Perez down scoring, 4, 5, 8 points in a weekend, and McLaren doing 1-2s and scoring 43 points, that 50-point gap is going to evaporate as soon as possible. Yeah, I'm not convinced Ricciardo would be any better than Checo. He's been really off the pace for a long time. That is also true. Ricciardo has not been doing that great, but Red Bull, who else do they have that can, oh my god, I'm really messing up my words today. Who else do Red Bull have that they can actually put in the team? They've got Tsunoda, they've got Ricciardo. Lawson does not have F1 experience, so he can't drive in the car. And they can't get any other driver that's currently in the grid to switch mid-season. Like Carlos Sainz is out of a drive for next season, but he's not going to just leave Ferrari halfway through the season to go drive at Red Bull. So I'd say Ricciardo's seen some sort of improvement. At the start of the season, he was performing badly. He's improved a little bit, so I would say they're the best shot. But yeah, I don't know. It's not AlphaTauri anymore, it's VCarb. It is. I would change the name. I would say VCarb instead of AlphaTauri, but I'm sure in 2 years' time the name from VCarb will also just change. So I could call it Toro Rosso, and you'd still know what I mean. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we are now 1 minute away from the start of FP2. Okie dokes, Yuki's overrated hard, let's be honest, sorry, but it's true. Well, yeah, I mean, a lot of people saying Yuki deserves a seat, even though Ricciardo may be quicker, but I don't know. Yuki Tsunoda has been performing on par with Ricciardo. In fact, on average, he's been quicker than Ricciardo this season. Now, if you're looking at just pure pace from this season so far, then yeah, Yuki Tsunoda is the driver to go with. But if you're looking for experience and knowledge and being able to handle a car that's difficult to drive and all of these other things that Daniel Ricciardo brings, then maybe Daniel Ricciardo is the better option. But yeah, it is not a question for us to answer, and Red Bull will have their answer very, very soon. Does Max really have a grid penalty? Indeed he does. He will have a 10-place grid penalty for changing his engine by the looks of it. That's what I've heard, and apparently it's been confirmed as well. So yeah, Max Verstappen will be starting this Grand Prix 10 places behind where he will qualify. Alright. Neither Yuki nor Ricciardo have really made their case they deserve the Red Bull second spot. Yeah, that's frustrating for everyone watching since we want to feel like the right choice is made. Yeah, that is true. That's a very good point. Charles Official. neither of the drivers have put like an exceptional foot forward, being like, yes, this is the performances you can expect from me. And they've both been performing well, but it's not been anything exceptional, which you would kind of expect. If you're going to drive for maybe the fastest team, maybe the second fastest team in Formula One, you would probably expect an exceptional performance to be delivered before you actually get that seat. So yeah, it's a very tricky thing to sort of go out and figure out what would be the best option, but here we are. We'll wait and see what happens. We'll wait and see what they decide to do. A couple of people suspect that it might be Sergio Perez's final race. A couple of people suspect he might get fired towards the end of the season. It's pretty tough to say. Hope Norris pushes the season. Indeed, I definitely do hope so as well. Norris has been doing pretty well in years, well, not in years recently, in the past couple of races. Of course, he did have that bit of an issue with Oscar Piastri last weekend out, but that will in time will be resolved as McLaren sort of fix their strategy team and sort of realise the mistakes that they're making and in effect fix those mistakes so it doesn't happen again. I think McLaren will have a great shot of doing well in the following weekends. Right, let's just have a quick refresh of the data, and FP2 should be underway very, very shortly. All right, the screen's gone black for a sec, folks. In fact, there are a couple of drivers already onto the circuit. Yeah, it will, in about 10 seconds time, the data will come through. It's just syncing up with, syncing up the correct time. Okie dokes. Folks, if you're enjoying the stream, be sure to subscribe. Hopefully we can hit 83,000 subscribers by the end of today. We had 200 subscribers subscribe in FP1. We're now 128 subscribers away. 128 subscribers away. So yeah, if you are enjoying the coverage, then be sure to subscribe. I will be commentating FP3. I will be commentating qualifying, and I will also be doing the race, which will be 44 laps around the Spa-Francorchamps circuit. We have most drivers coming out on a set of medium tyres. Lando Norris out on a set of softs. This is around about the same time that we will have qualifying tomorrow, and hence the drivers are doing some quali sims. But tomorrow, of course, rain is forecast, and we may, the qualifying simulations will probably go out the window, and the drivers will be focusing a lot more on FP3 to sort of understand the circuit and see what happens. Who is even the McLaren number one driver? This is the thing. I don't know. McLaren, do they have a number one driver? Now, maybe it's a driver that's got more points in the championship. Maybe it's a driver that is ahead on the circuit on that weekend. It's tough to say, really. This is normally what you see when there are two drivers that are sort of at equal levels and the teams want to treat them equally. At a circuit like Spa, where the tow is very important, what you will normally see is the drivers will go... In the first quali runs, they will give their teammate a tow, and then on the second quali run, their teammate will give them a tow. And this sort of that's sort of what you see in these sort of teams where the drivers are treated equally. We've seen this many, many times with Verstappen and Ricciardo when they were teammates in Red Bull. That they would swap around with each other and give each other a tow in qualifying laps. So yeah, McLaren, they're probably equal drivers for now. I think as they get towards the end of the season and it becomes clear maybe Piastri is going to be competing for the championship, maybe Norris is going to be competing for the championship, I think they'll start prioritising the driver that is ahead, mainly because they have to, they do want to go win a championship. They typically will prefer Lando over Piastri. Maybe, you could say a bit of British bias coming in there, Lando Norris being British. But yeah, currently Norris has got more points than Oscar Piastri. He's been performing maybe a tenth or two quicker than Piastri in quali sessions as well. So I guess he would get a bit of the he would get the what's it called? Priority. Yeah, he'd get the priority over Oscar Piastri. Brilliant. We've hit 300 likes. That is fantastic. pretty much all the drivers apart from Sergeant Leclerc and Magnussen sat in the pits. Esteban Ocon had his water leak fixed. He's come out onto the circuit, and he will be looking to make up on a bit of lost time from FP1. He only got one lap in FP1, had his issue as soon as he came out the pit lane with his water leak, and they spent all of FP1 and the break in between rectifying the issue. All right. We have now got Max Verstappen on who's just come across the line, a 1:43.4, a sensationally quick lap there from Max Verstappen on a set of mediums. Yeah, very nicely done there from Max. We'll see what the McLarens can do, but the McLarens looks like, well, Norris is on a set of softs, Piastri is on a set of mediums, so we'll see how they compare. But going down the straights, both Red Bull drivers, 338 kilometers going down the straights. Alex Albon comes across the line 341 going down the straights. So it's quite evident that a little bit extra top speed is preferred over a bit of downforce. And I think Red Bull have knocked down the downforce levels very slightly between FP1 and FP2. And Verstappen is setting those quick lap times as a result. Okay, Piastri made a rookie mistake being born in the wrong place. Indeed, a very pretty rookie mistake, to be honest. In my opinion, I was I would never do that. Oh, we've got Stroll up into 4th place. Nice job there. And Stroll doing that with the top speed of 330 kilometers an hour. So he's gaining time through the middle sector, slower through the other sectors. Yeah, nicely done. Norris goes up into 2nd position, a 10th behind Max Verstappen, but Norris has done that on a set of soft tyres, whereas Max Verstappen was on a set of mediums. Very, very interesting there. Let's wait and see what Oscar Piastri can do. He's currently on a hot lap. He goes down the back straight. He's gone through Blanchimont already towards the bus stop chicane where Lando Norris, in fact, locked up in FP1. But, yeah, gets through pretty cleanly there and then comes across the line. And it is 3rd place for Oscar Piastri. He goes 4 tenths behind Max Verstappen, 2 tenths behind his teammate. No, sorry, 3 tenths behind his teammate. Apologies there. 2.5 tenths really, but nonetheless, there is, I think Norris had a bit of a bad lap there, but Verstappen's pace advantage is looking really good at this circuit. It seems like he's got a bit more of a shot of getting pole position here, even though he will have his 10-place grid penalty. He'll start further back down the grid. I think he's looking good. Right. I'm also adding Nightbot into the live stream, so hopefully anyone that is spamming will get anyone that spams more than 3 messages at once will get a timeout. That will help. Okay. There we go. Leclerc is out onto the circuit with a set of soft tyres. Okay. Perez is actually going fine too. Yeah, if you look at the pace difference between Verstappen and Perez, that is 7 tenths of a second. They're on the same set of tyres, so I don't know, maybe test. That seems like it's not working, really. Probably... Wait, let me check how many messages that I actually set it for. I set it for... Oh wait, have I even turned on the spam protection? I don't know, I'll see. I'll have a look later. Alright, cheers folks. I appreciate the test. Clearly it's not working, so yeah. I totally forgot how to do this. I haven't used it in a while. Yeah, well, I'll get it sorted out for the remaining streams. Yeah. All right, anyway, back to what's going on. Oh, wow, we've already got 2,000 people tuned into the live stream. That is fantastic, folks. Very much is appreciated. Yeah, so what else have we got going on in the session? The McLarens have gone into the garage. Charles Leclerc comes across the line. He's really pushing that Ferrari, by the way. I just watched his hot lap. And another driver, 338 kilometers down the straights on a set of soft tyres. And he comes across the line in 4th place, goes 6/10 behind Max Verstappen. So Ferrari's not doing that well this weekend. By the looks of it, Ferrari is a lot better in the slow speed circuits than they are in the high speed circuits. And hence they hence they are getting, they're that far behind. In fact, never mind, because Carlos Sainz has just put a very quick lap in and he's gone into 3rd position. So Charles Leclerc having a bit of a bad lap, and Sainz has done that on a set of medium tyres, which seem to be quicker than the softs, at least in Ferrari's case. I'm sure that's just a mistake with the a mistake from Leclerc's side. Okay, what else have we got going on? All right. Yeah, so if we look at the championship standings between the two Ferrari drivers, Charles Leclerc on 162 points, Carlos Sainz a 154 as we go into round number 14 in Belgium. Both Ferrari drivers have been doing fairly well. They've been actually the closest for a driver pairing on the entire paddock. The two Ferraris have been competing very, very well, and they're the closest driver pairing between teammates. The second closest being Fernando Alonso and Lance Stroll, but the Ferrari's doing massively well in the previous couple of weekends in terms of how close they are to each other. Why has Verstappen got a 10-place grid penalty? Verstappen will probably get a 10-place grid penalty when they change the engine components in his car. It seems like what they're going to do is give him a fresh engine and hence give him a 10-place grid penalty, but of course be allowed to push that engine a little bit more throughout this season. I think he damaged his engine later in... Yeah, I think he damaged his engine in an accident, in a crash somewhere. I'm not sure exactly which weekend, but there was some sort of damage done to the engine, and hence he's going to have to take another one as a penalty, so he can get to the end of the season without a retirement. F1 already announced his penalty. Fair enough. Right, what am I going to do? It's from I'll put the mini sectors up when the drivers are doing soft tire runs. But for now, since it is practice, the overall lap time is a bit more insight than just the mini sectors. Okie dokes. Yeah, I think that just happened. He's just got the penalty officially. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I haven't checked. Normally it comes through. The breaking news on the F1 feed right now is Alpine have confirmed that Bruno Famin will leave as team principal. They're going to have a different team principal. Verstappen and Tsunoda hit with grid penalties at Belgian Grand Prix so let's have a look. Let's just see what this says. Verstappen will have a 10-place grid penalty. Tsunoda will start the race from the rear of the grid. It seems like Tsunoda's got an even bigger grid place penalty, exceeding 15 places, so he's going to start from the back. Okay, brilliant. Does Verstappen get a new radio communication style training as well? That is a great question. Essentially, yeah, Verstappen. Well, not Verstappen. There were quite a few drivers that were swearing over the radio last weekend, and essentially, the problem with that is, well, there wasn't really any problem, but I think the broadcasters weren't particularly pleased with it because there was just so much swearing going on, and they were basically requesting the drivers to swear less over the radio, which is, yeah, a bit. I mean, there's literally no point asking the drivers to stop swearing because they will just continue swearing. The drivers do not care. So yeah. One sec, let me just put the mini sectors up. We are quite a few people asking. There we go. There is there's the data. Right. So why don't we go through what else is going on the circuit? Most of the drivers make their way into the pit lane, and yeah, nothing too much really. Do you think it will rain? Indeed, I do. It will be raining, folks, tomorrow. It'll be it's forecast to rain from 9 p.m. today all the way through the night, through the morning, through the afternoon, and it'll be raining for FP3 tomorrow. It should be raining for qualifying as well, and it's going to be very, very exciting. Gonna enjoy it a lot. All right. What else was I going to say? Oh yeah, Esteban Ocon has been signed to drive for the Haas team. That is a little bit of a, well, I don't know, not really a surprise to be honest, but yeah, Oliver Behrman is going to have a very nice experience, shall we say, in his first season of Formula One with Esteban Ocon as his teammate. Esteban Ocon hasn't got the best history as of being a good teammate, but we'll wait and see what he can do going to Haas. Yeah, but Oliver Behrman will have his work cut out for him. How are the Astons looking? The Astons are, well, they did have their upgrade last weekend, and their upgrade actually worked very, very well. They went up through the grid, and they are probably the fifth fastest team this maybe. Yeah, it's not really certain to be honest, but Aston Martin look fairly quick, so that's good for them. But this weekend, they haven't been doing as well. Now, it is only FP2. The drivers aren't even preparing that much for quali runs because they know that it'll be raining tomorrow, so they might as well just do their quali runs tomorrow and do the long runs today in the dry conditions because they don't have any dry conditions tomorrow to practice on. And yeah, so can't really tell you too much about how Aston Martin are doing, but no sort of issues really. I think Fernando Alonso went wide on a couple of corners once, but apart from that, no issues down at the Aston Martin team. But some of the issues that Aston Martin did have, which got totally brushed under the rug, and honestly, I wasn't even paying attention to it during the race, but during the final stint of the Hungarian Grand Prix, Lance Stroll was asked to swap positions with Fernando Alonso. They had some sort of strategy thing going on, and essentially they were asked. Stroll, the engineer, came over to the radio to Stroll and was like, "Stroll, you've got to swap positions with Fernando. You've got to, give him the place back that." Was decided earlier on, or so there was some sort of deal basically that was saying that Stroll had to give the position back to Alonso, and Stroll absolutely did not give the position back. Didn't he? I don't even think he responded properly over the radio, and it totally got ignored because there was so much drama up at the front with Red Bull, Max Verstappen complaining non-stop, McLaren just going at it really. Yeah, so something to know. But Stroll, I presume his thinking was Stroll's thinking was probably just, oh, my dad owns the team. What are you going to do? Fire me? Don't think so, mate. Yeah. Also, we've just Sergio Perez has come over the radio to report that they will be. Not they will be. McLarens have been also touching the ground quite a bit as they go through Eau Rouge. They have been struggling as well. So Mercedes, their bouncing issues have seemed to reduce a little bit. They probably have just increased the ride height, but they have been. Let's see. They're now going through Blanchimont. We've got a replay of Hamilton going through Blanchimont, and the car looks a lot more stable than it did before. As soon as they approach the high speeds, we do see a bit more bouncing here and there, but it's nothing that significant compared to what it was before. So it looks like Mercedes have just turned up the ride height. Oh, we've got Ball is Life. Well, thank you for tuning in, mate. Yeah, you've got a verified tick. Well, thank you. Yeah. Interesting. I don't know. I haven't checked out your channel, but I might have a look later on. We've got a couple of drivers now coming out of the pits, but most of the drivers still sat in the pit lane, getting some changes done to their cars and putting some more fuel in before they go out to do some racing. Right. What else have we got going on? Not much, to be honest. Not much. What are your last three graphics to the right? They are the mini sectors. Essentially, I'll give a quick little explanation for what mini sectors are. As you can see, the circuit itself is very, very long. It's 7 kilometers long, in fact, and it's been split into 3 different sections called Sector 1, Sector 2, Sector 3. And those sectors are further split into even smaller sectors. And what they give us is a bit of an intricate, detailed look at where the drivers are quick, where the drivers are slow. So all of these little bars, all the little rectangles represent, if they're yellow, they represent the drivers going slower than their personal best. If they are purple, they represent the drivers going quickest out of everyone. If they are green, it represents a personal best time. And if they are blue, it represents the drivers going in or out of the pit lane. Yeah. Right. What else have we got going on this weekend? Well, it is the mid-season break. We're going to have 3 weeks of no Formula 1, which is the longest break that we've had all season long. And then we're going to get right back into the racing at Zandvoort. Nathan Powell asks, have you gotten to attend any F1 races in person? Unfortunately, I have not. Haven't gone to any circuits so far. I am from the UK, so I probably could get Silverstone. Silverstone, actually, it's so expensive. It would actually be cheaper for me to go to fly out to Monza, watch the race in Monza, and fly back, than it would be to go to Silverstone. So, yeah. But no, I haven't been to any F1 race. We'll see. I will probably go to one maybe next season. But this season, the channel's been going really well, so I'm gonna, keep going at it. And hopefully we hit 100k by the end of the year. We're getting pretty close to 83,000 subscribers today, which is fantastic. We got used to having 24 races per season and a race every week or every other week. Indeed. 24 races, there are 52 weeks in a year, and 24 races, that's nearly half of your weekends. Half the weekends in the year are Formula 1. So yeah, quite a big time commitment, honestly, to do F1, but it's worth it. So it's I really do enjoy commentating Formula 1. So yeah, I'm not complaining really. Okie dokie, what else have we got going on this weekend? Carlos Sainz, nice lap there. He said that a little bit earlier, but yeah, I wasn't particularly focused. And it goes a 2.5 tenths quicker than Max Verstappen. So Max Verstappen, though, he is now out on a set of soft tyres, and this is the question. Max Verstappen, he set his previous lap on a set of medium tyres, so now he's on the softs. We're going to see how much he improves, because we need to get a bit of an accurate guess on the difference between the mediums and the softs, and I think Max Verstappen was probably the best bet to give us that with all of his consistency. Oscar Piastri, what a lap. On those soft tyres, goes half a second, 0.6 of a second quicker than Carlos Sainz. Nicely done from Oscar Piastri. Now the question remains, what will Max Verstappen do? He's on a outlap as of... Oh no, he's not on an outlap, he's on a quick lap in fact. A couple of his mini sectors are purple as he goes through the middle sector, maybe bolted on just a little bit more downforce, and the Red Bulls seems to just have more downforce than all of the other teams anyway. So yeah, he comes through the middle sector line. What is his middle sector? It is a purple middle sector. Nicely done. Nico Hulkenberg, by the way, I'd like to say, he's purple in the first sector, which is quite incredible. Probably did get a bit of a tow, though. George Russell, he's in third place. He comes across the line there. And Max Verstappen now just going through Blanchimont. There's all the traffic is cleared up ahead of him. He's got a nice clear braking zone into the final bus stop chicane, and he should get a great exit out of there. Yes, he does. And here he comes across the line. Alright, Max Verstappen across the line. It is second place. He is 2 milliseconds off Oscar Piastri's time. 2 milliseconds. So close through there. And it's just, 2 milliseconds. It could go either way come race day or quali day. But yeah, a quick lap nonetheless, and it goes to show McLarens and Red Bulls are not that far off. In FP1, we did see the McLarens. I think they did have their engine mode turned down. Now they are concerned that they know, well, now that McLaren know they will be competing for a potential championship fight, they know they have to turn the engine down, conserve as much as possible, so when it does matter in qualifying and in the race, they don't get a DNF, really hurting their chances of winning a championship. Because this is a thing, right? There are 50 points that McLaren need to gain on Red Bull by the end of the season. We've got around about 10 races left. We've got 11 races left, and 3 sprint races left. So there is more than enough time for that to happen. But if McLaren get a DNF, that is not them being 50 points behind Red Bull. That gap is actually going to increase. So McLaren have to taking, in an ideal world, McLaren would only take steps forward, but what they have to do, they have to try their hardest, is to not take any steps backwards, because even 2 steps backwards, say if they get 2 DNFs in 2 races, right, then it's going to be so much harder for them to close that 50-point gap up to Red Bull. And so probably the most critical thing that McLaren have to do is make sure that they do not let that gap get any bigger, and if they do, make sure it is by the smallest margin possible, and that's why they're not pushing too hard on in FP1 and in FP2. We saw Oscar Piastri lifting through Puon, and Puon is not a corner that you lift at in quali whatsoever. It may be just a little backing off the throttle bit when you flick the car in, but apart from that, you really don't want to be doing any sort of lifting through Puon, and Piastri was doing that because he wasn't pushing too hard. And in fact, Piastri's just come over the radio, might need to check the floor, turned into a skateboarder at turn 7. I don't know what he means exactly by skateboarder, but it seems like I know exactly what he means by skateboarder. He was riding the sausage curb on the exit of turn number 7. There is quite a big sausage curb there, Oscar Piastri rode the sausage curb, and the floor does not really cooperate. Yeah. Logan Sargent, 13th position for him. Yuki Tsunoda quickest through the first sector. That top speed from the AlphaTauri really helping out there. We may see a couple of teams trying to orchestrate a bit of a tow as practice for Saturday, but I think if it is raining tomorrow, a tow will not be necessary because you'll gain a lot of lap time through the corners rather than the straights. F1 Gamer, the McLarens should not guard in Q1 tomorrow to save their engines. Yes, I've got this strategy from the yeah. that is a very good strategy there, Remy. They should not. They should stay in. They should go out in Q1. Oh, sorry, no, they shouldn't go out in Q1. Yeah. Okay. Right, who's just gone up into timings? K-Mag up into 5th position. Nice job from him. Let's wait and see what Alex Albon can do. Alex Albon's on an in-lap. We've got Charles Leclerc on a quick lap here. He's doing this on a set of soft tyres for the second time, but he's improved in the first sector. He's improved in the second sector as well, pretty massively, to be honest. Pretty massive improvement in the middle sector for Charles Leclerc, and I feel like we're going to see some major gains, and potentially he could challenge up at the top. Depends what his final sector is like, though, compared to the rest of the drivers. And here he comes towards the bus stop chicane. We've got a little bit of traffic in the way of Hamilton, but yeah, Hamilton gets out of the way nicely, and Charles Leclerc now comes across the line. He opens the DRS flap, and what can he do? It is third place for Charles Leclerc, and it's a 1:42.8. He's 3.5 tenths back from Piastri, but I think all of the time that he did lose was in the final sector. Yes, it was. Charles Leclerc's final sector was slower than Fernando Alonso's final sector, and Fernando Alonso is down in 11th position. So yeah, Charles Leclerc, if he can nail that final sector, even if he had Fernando Alonso's final sector instead of his own, he would be up there potentially in first position. So I was going to count the Ferraris out this weekend. I was going to say, Ferraris are good at slow speed circuits, they're not that good in the high speed, but here they are once again delivering when it's not really expected. So Ferrari doing a good job here, and they have brought upgrades. They've fixed a lot of their upgrades that they brought that weren't actually quicker. They're actually slowing the car down, but they fixed those, managed to get around any sort of issues that they found with them. And maybe they're quick in the high speed corners as well. Right, I'm going to have a quick sip of water. I'll be back in just a second. Yara days. I think Yuki is struggling in the high speed corners. Is he afraid of them? Well, Yuki Tsunoda has, well, not just Yuki Tsunoda, both the AlphaTauris or the V-Carbs, whatever you want to call them, they have both opted for a pretty low downforce setup, which means when they do go through the high-speed corners, they just don't have the same level of front and rear grip that all of the other drivers do. And hence, he is going slower through the corners, and because of that, he's losing time and struggling. And yeah, essentially, I will put the top speeds up for qualifying. I'll find a little organization where you can, an organization of all of this data where you can see all the top speeds as well, and that really helps. But the V-Carbs have really prioritized top speed rather than cornering speed, and that's why he's struggling through the high speed corners. Okie dokes, but we've had our first set of quick laps. Esteban Ocon, wow, 6th position for Esteban Ocon, very nice. Lando Norris, purple through the middle sector. Let's wait and see what he can do as he comes across the line. But Alpine and Sauber have both brought massive upgrades this weekend, hoping, Norris up into first position, 2 tenths ahead of his teammate, and 2 tenths ahead of Max Verstappen as well. Nice job there from Lando Norris. Yeah, I mean, you've got to take into account track evolution and all of these other things. So the circuit probably has got a little bit better, but nonetheless, Lando Norris does set a quick lap. Ocon's car is working again, and he's up into 7th position. But yes, Alpine and Sauber, both of them have brought very big upgrades this weekend, and they're looking great. So, well, Alpine are looking great. Don't know about Sauber, but we'll wait and see come qualifying. Yeah. Norris is not letting last week slide. Indeed, he's not. Norris really, in these sort of situations, when you are, it's a tough thing being managing your teammate, not even managing your teammate, but when you have a teammate, someone that you can directly be compared to, when you're not right at the top of the pack, when you're not the fastest team in the world in Formula One, then your teammate is your best friend. You work together, you use strategies, you undercut the same drivers at the same time, and all of these other things. And your teammate's your best friend, essentially, when you are not the fastest team in the grid. But then as soon as you become the fastest team on the grid, and championships and points and wins and podiums and all of these things are on the line, then suddenly your teammate is your worst enemy. And you have this mentality switch that Lando Norris has taken a certain attitude to, Oscar Piastri has taken a certain attitude to, and we'll see how it works out. I think Piastri has been a bit more reserved than Lando Norris has, and but Piastri also has not been in a position where he needed to get aggressive. And well, actually, I would say last weekend was a position where Piastri did need to get aggressive, because he deserved that win. He was in first position. McLaren messed up the strategy, so it was on their, it was McLaren's job to fix it. So Piastri, he could have got all aggressive over the radio. He could have started swearing, saying, "Norris, what are you doing?" etc., etc. But he didn't. He was very cool, calm, collected. The only radio message we even heard from him was just, "The later we leave it, the riskier it gets," which is a very, very sensible thing to say. So yeah, it's a tough thing for Norris and Piastri, and Norris is obviously going to try going on the offensive now. He feels hard done by McLaren, and he's going to try and go on the offensive and basically try and say, "I'm the quicker driver here. You should prioritize me. Last weekend, whatever you did was a mistake." So, well, we'll see. We'll see what happens between Oscar and Norris. But this is another thing. Luckily, this weekend, it seems like they're going to get away with it. But at Spa, there's normally a very distinct bit of team cooperation that has to happen. Also, I'd just like to point out, Norris is quicker throughout all of the straights, and Piastri's quicker through most of the corners. Not all of them, but most of them. So it seems to indicate that Norris might be running a slightly lower downforce setup than Piastri. But yeah, normally at Spa, the drivers do have to cooperate, especially teammates. They have to cooperate in a sense of giving each other a tow. And sometimes this has boiled over. 2018, between Verstappen and Ricciardo, they had their issues about giving the other driver a tow. I think it was Austria, 2018. They were complaining over the radio, saying, "Oh, he has to give me a tow first, then I'll give him the tow on the next lap," and along those lines. And you could get the feeling that things were boiling over. They were boiling over in Baku in 2018. Now, then they continued on to Austria. So unfortunately, because of the rain this weekend, we're not going to see what the outcome of the Norris Piastri teammate fiasco is. But it won't be long. Monza will happen in a couple of weeks' time, and we'll see how they cooperate in terms of giving each other a tow. What will happen to Max after the penalty? He'll get a 10-place grid penalty. 10-place grid penalty. This stream is better than SPN. Well, very much to appreciate it, folks. Glad you are enjoying. We are 39 subscribers away from 83,000. So if you guys haven't subscribed, and be sure to do so. If you are still considering, then I commentate all of the I don't know how long I'll be doing the practice sessions for, but at least for the next couple of months, I'll be doing practice sessions. Then I always do qualifyings, always do the full races as well. Here we go then. One second gap between Verstappen and Perez tells you the skills of the drivers. Yeah, there is quite a big gap there, but Verstappen set his lap on a set of softs. I don't think
Perez came out on a set of softs. Just something to read into. Currently, the tyres that it shows on the screen is the tyres that the drivers are currently on. It doesn't show the tyres that the driver was on when they set their fastest lap. So, yeah. Evan Gamer, do you intend to do some post-race content streams talking about the race and such, interacting with people and etc. to maybe help get your streams big? Well, Remy, that's a good point. I do think post-race streams are a good idea, but there's a bit of a trade-off that has to be made there effectively, because the more people that I can redirect, that basically at the end of a stream when there are 25,000 or 10,000 or whatever amount of people, if I can send them to another stream, that helps out the channel enormously in the long term. And I can basically just, if I recommend them another stream, YouTube will also recommend it later on, and it helps out the channel massively. So yeah, I think I will probably post sort of, I don't know, maybe some long form content. I think I'm definitely going to do some Q&As for the Patreons. In fact, I do have 2 Patreons. AJ from Southeast Asia, no, not South, from Far East Asia, sorry, not Southeast Asia, Far East Asia, and Stefan as well. Both of these guys are my Patreons, and they're helping out the channel, so yeah, they get a shout out in live streams and stuff, and then a couple of behind the scenes content, what my streaming setup looks like, and then a monthly Q&A video and all of those things. So if you guys are interested, then there is a link in the description for my Patreon, or a buy me a coffee, whichever you prefer. But yeah, I think I'll talk about that later. As of now, we've got FP2 going on. We've had already 40 minutes of the session. We've got 20 minutes remaining. And the drivers, most of the drivers that are out on the circuit right now are doing some medium tyre running to try and evaluate what the first stint tyre degradation is going to be like. Normally at the circuit, we do have a one-stop race. And yeah, because of that, the teams will be just evaluating all of the tyre wear and checking that everything is okay. Checking everything is in line with their predictions, and hence they'll go on and do a one-stop strategy. Where is Sainz going to end up? Honestly, Gus, thank you for the question. And we get this question so many times about where is Carlos Sainz going to go? And honestly, it is harder and harder to say each weekend. But what I can say is their options are closing up slowly but surely. Audi 2025, they have signed Nico Hülkenberg. They haven't signed a second driver, so maybe Audi. He can't be driving for Haas because Oliver Behrman and Ocon are driving for Haas. It seems like he's definitely not going to go to Red Bull by the looks. So it seems like they're going to keep Sergio Perez or take one of the AlphaTauri drivers. So the options remain potentially Mercedes, potentially Williams. And where else can Carlos Sainz even go? He's not getting a seat at Aston Martin. He's not getting a seat at McLaren. He's not getting a seat at Ferrari because he's leaving there. Alpine, maybe. And that's it. Options are out. So it's a very tough job there for Carlos Sainz. Don't know what he's going to do, to be honest. We'll just have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see what Carlos Sainz does. Why does F1 allow broadcast live events through a streaming app instead of on live TV? I don't know. What's your personal favourite track? I would probably say Suzuka. Yeah, Suzuka. That's normally what I answer to that type of question. Evan Gamer, yeah, recommend the additional content, as I observe a lot of people seem to come here for you more often than just the data in the stream. Well, that was very kind of, yeah, I think I don't know, I'm sure quite a few people come here to listen to my commentary especially. I think quite a lot of people also come here to just get access to the data. Who knows? We'll see. Okay. Sainz did a better lap than Piastri, both on the same time, same age. Sainz looks pretty good on the mediums, all things considered. Yeah, Sainz, his medium tyre run was very, very nice, and we'll see how the Ferraris do, but they seem to be quicker than the Mercs. Mercs having a bit of issues here. They have brought upgrades this weekend, and they were subtle tweaks to all different parts of the car. They tweaked the halo, they tweaked the diffuser, they tweaked the front wing, the front suspension. So tweaks all around the car, just subtle things to make the car better and work better as a package. So I would, I'd expect Mercedes to have been quicker this weekend, but it seems like they're ironing out some issues. They're suffering a bit from the porpoising and the bouncing. So they've increased the ride height, but of course increasing the ride height does also slow the car down. And it's a tough balance to make, isn't it? What do you want to do and what do you want to prioritize? Right, what else have we got going on? Ooh, it's nice to see the timing and the track on the same page, of course, with the commentary. Yeah, going to Singapore. Oh, very very nice. Well, I'm glad it get to see the Singapore Grand Prix. It is a great place to watch the race. Yeah, and Singapore is a fantastic race to watch, to be honest. Very nice in the city as well. City of Singapore. I think the Singapore airport is also apparently very very nice, or the mall next to it. Yeah. I haven't recovered from Aston's downfall in mid 2023. Yeah, Aston Martin's downfall. I mean, you haven't recovered from it, but Aston Martin hasn't recovered from it either. They have been 5th fastest team by the looks of it now. They have finally regained a bit of their composure. Their upgrades have come through and actually delivered some performance. And they seem to be doing well now. So they should be good for the future couple of races. We'll see what the other teams can do in terms of upgrades. Haas will be looking to get on their back. Alpine as well. They've been strong and they've brought upgrades to complement the uplift in pace that they've already had. So yeah, Alpine and Haas will be coming for 5th fastest team. But this is the thing. We were previously talking about, 2022, 2023, we were all talking about, who's the 2nd fastest team? Who's the 3rd fastest team? But suddenly, we've switched from 2nd fastest and 3rd fastest all the way to talk about who's the 5th fastest, because it's too close to call in terms of, are the McLarens quicker? Are the Red Bulls quicker? Are the Ferraris quicker? Are the Mercedes quicker? So I think that's it's fantastic, isn't it? It's too difficult to call who is going quicker and who is not. Aston started the season 5th fastest, went down the order, added upgrades only to end up 5th fastest. Truly World Championship material. Well, if you think about it, Remy, they started 5th, went all the way down to 10th, not probably 10th, went all the way down to 8th probably throughout the season, and now have gone up 3 places as well. So if they carry on going up 3 places, who knows where they'll end up. Yeah. Lando in the long run better than Piastri at FP1. How is it now? Well, let's have a look. Lando Norris has just come into the pits, so not the best representation in terms of long runs, but yeah, Lando Norris is on a set of soft tyres. We've got Piastri on a set of mediums, so we've got a while until we get both drivers out on sets of medium tyres. I'll be at Austin. Missed it in 2014, 10th anniversary. Wow. Yeah, the COTA, honestly, COTA's a great circuit to watch. There's so much overtaking action, especially in the final sector. And I've heard from the people that have gone to races, the noise, even though that we say that the V6 turbos sound bad, if you've never heard a Formula 1 car before, like if you've never heard the V10 and you haven't compared it to a V10, then the V6 turbo also sounds, quite frankly, incredible. Like the roaring and the grunting from the Honda engine, especially on the downshifts, is fantastic to listen to. Okay, even though these drivers are active and fit, how does Fernando handle the G-force at the age of 42? Well, this is the thing. The G-force, being able to handle the G-force is sort of a thing that you build up, and with time, it doesn't really go away. It's not exactly the same as riding a bike. You learn to handle G-force, and then you'll be able to handle G-force forever. But it's sort of as long as you build up, the drivers through the junior formulas, they build up their G-force tolerance. Fernando Alonso has been driving in Formula 1 a very long time, so he's built up that tolerance. And then as long as he maintains his fitness, the tolerance just stays with him as he gets older and older. I'm sure there'll be some sort of adverse effects, but then he can compensate that with more fitness exercises, more neck training, more strength core training, and all of those things. Yeah. All right. Amazing Turn 19 is totally underrated, and yes, the Honda makes a very different noise on the downshifts. Yeah, they do, and honestly, spectacular noises from the Honda engine downshifts. I'm going to be honest. Who had a better rookie year, Lando or Piastri? Honestly, I've got to give it to Piastri. Piastri, he came right into his rookie year, and you wouldn't even, looking at his performances, you wouldn't think he is a rookie, if I'm going to be totally honest. So I think that's the best thing that I could say. If you don't think the driver is a rookie, then I think he's done a good enough job in his rookie season. All right, what else have we got going on on the circuit? Well, in fact, we've got all of the drivers out onto circuit, all 20 of the drivers out. And it seems like they're all doing different types of runs here. We've got a couple of drivers doing runs on soft tyres, a couple of drivers doing it on medium tyres, and then Nico Hülkenberg, the lone driver, out on a set of hards, doing some long runs as well. Very, very interesting. We had a lot more hard tyre runners in the first stint. So yeah. Oh, we've hit 83,000 subscribers. That is very, very nice. Let's knock that up to 33,500. Incredible though. The rate that subscribers are going up this season has been frankly crazy. Yeah. Are we likely to see any women in Formula 1 soon? Don't think so. I mean, there's been, I think, Aston Martin's academy. There was someone in Aston Martin's academy. I think her name's Jess Hawkins. I'm not 100% sure. But I think she tested the Aston Martin 2021 car at some point. This was a while ago, though. And since then, I have not heard anything. I haven't heard anything about Jamie Chadwick doing anything. Yeah. So, no, I don't think we will be seeing any women in Formula 1 soon. I shall not be constrained this time, and therefore I'd like to congratulate Oscar Piastri on his 8th world title. Well, we'll see what Oscar Piastri can do. Yeah, Jessica Hawkins seems about, yeah. What type of tyres are best for this circuit? Honestly, the hardest, I think we've got the hardest in Pirelli's range, because Eau Rouge, Raidillon, Blanchimont, Puon, these corners are very, very high loads, and just to make sure that there aren't any sort of failures through there, I think Pirelli have selected the highest tyres of their hardest tyres of their range. Yeah. What else have we got going on? 7 minutes remain of this session, folks. We're nearly hitting 600 likes. Thank you everyone for tuning in, by the way. Very much is appreciated. Oh, hello, Multi Ninja. Nice to see you here. Indy, yeah, I think, let's see, Jamie Chadwick won an Indy race. Very cool, very nice. No, I haven't been keeping up to date with IndyCar. In fact, one of my friends was telling me about it, but no, I haven't actually managed to watch a race. I think the times are a little bit awkward if I'm in the UK, but that shouldn't stop me. We've got a lot of people from Australia watching. Yeah. Is it going to rain on both Saturday and Sunday? No, it is not. It is only forecast to rain on Saturday. In fact, the rain is meant to start today night at 9 p.m. It's going to rain throughout the night, throughout the morning, and throughout the afternoon, and it will also have rain in qualifying. But it will stop after that in time for the race on Sunday. What is your background? My background, I don't know if you're talking about the screen. Probably you're talking about my background as in a person. I guess, I live in the UK. That's probably, I'm not going to go into too much detail, but yeah. Right, so what else? Where do you think Logan Sargent will end up? I think Logan Sargent will probably find his way to IndyCar. Maybe he will experiment a bit in Formula E, but yeah, IndyCar is probably where he might end up. Also, we've just got a bit of a graphic here on the Drivers' Championship between Verstappen and Perez. And if we actually look at it, the gap isn't so big. First 4-5 races, Perez and Verstappen quite similar to each other. And that's kind of just goes to show the Red Bull was very, very dominant. Even though Perez was significantly slower than Verstappen, he could still keep up, get the second place, get the third place, and not too big of a concern. But in the previous couple of races, what's happened, everyone else has closed up that gap. So that gap, which was previously was a no man's land between Verstappen and Perez, and there was about a 6/10 of a second gap or 7/10 of a second gap, that has now been taken up by drivers from McLaren, drivers from Ferrari, and drivers now from Mercedes as well. Yeah. Oh, you're saying that Sargent will probably end up in IndyCar. Yeah, fair enough. Nothing else for him, really. Yeah, I mean, Sargent's a fairly quick driver. Like, he's not been doing terrible, but there is a certain standard that you require to be in Formula One. And if you aren't hitting that standard, then there'll be someone else that claims they can hit that standard, someone else that has the potential to hit that standard, and you will get replaced very, very soon. A very, very tough thing to say, really. Okay. What else have we got going on? We've hit our target. Very nice. We've got 5 minutes left of this session. Not too much going on. Everyone else just doing long runs, really. We've already had our slow runs. Let's have a quick look at the top speed information here. What are the top speeds looking like? Everyone seems to be going between 335 to 340. Pierre Gasly has the highest out of everyone, with a top speed of 350 kilometers an hour. That is most definitely with a tow. The Alpine engine is not powerful enough to do that on its own, but yeah, by the looks of it, everyone else is between 335 to 340 kilometers per hour. So everyone running similar, at least drag levels. We don't know about downforce because there is that slight bit of efficiency that muddies up the link between drag and downforce. But everyone running pretty similar drag levels to maximize their speeds down the straights. Yeah, fairly typical stuff at Spa, honestly. All right, I'm going to have a quick sip of water, folks. Yeah, you guys should also remember to stay hydrated. Pretty important. But yeah, I'll be back in a sec. Ooh, 1:27 a.m. Saturday morning in South Australia. Well, thank you for tuning in. Multi Ninja, hope you are enjoying. You'll probably get some sleep very, very soon, in 3 minutes' time when FP2 ends. Yeah. If Max starts 11th, do you think he can beat the McLarens? That is a difficult question to answer, but I would like to say that the Red Bull's very quick down the straights, and if they know that Verstappen will be starting in 11th position, and hence I think what they will do is opt for a bit more of a lower downforce setup, which means that it will be easier for Verstappen to overtake. So I think he could catch up to the McLarens. Now the question is, can he overtake the McLarens? That is totally out of the question. If there's a safety car, that would make it very much easier to overtake. If there isn't a safety car, then if he has to close a 10-second gap up, a bit unrealistic. Who knows? Who knows what will happen? But yeah, Verstappen with a 10-place grid penalty, and the chances are that he probably also will not score pole position as well. So yeah, if he's not going to score pole position, then he will most likely not end up in 11th. He'll probably end up down in 12th and 13th. But that being said, Verstappen has got a great history of overtaking through the circuit. He has started at the back of the pack a couple of times here, and he makes his overtakes like there's no tomorrow. It's just so quick, and very nice from Verstappen, so we'll see. But if we could look through the high-speed corners, Norris seems to be the quickest driver through the high-speed, Verstappen in second place, and then we've got Piastri in third, Leclerc in fourth, and Hamilton in fifth in terms of the rankings of the drivers. The mini sectors that are the high-speed corners on this circuit. Those are the rankings. So 5 different drivers in the top. Oh no, 4 different teams. Sorry, in the top five spots. And it just It once again is just showing us how close everything is in this pack, and it is spectacular, really. Honestly, is rain forecast for the race 2? Unfortunately, not. There is rain forecast for quali, but that rain will stop by Sunday. Thanks for stream, everyone. Thanks for stream, everyone. See you tomorrow. Indeed, I will. Hope to see you guys here as well. So we got here late. Anything special so far? To be honest, nothing really. The McLaren seem to be quicker than Verstappen, but not by a significant margin. So we'll have a very interesting qualifying session tomorrow, and we'll have rain tomorrow as well. But that is the end of FP2. There we go. We've got 6 seconds left. All the drivers out on the circuit now. They'll be just going out to do their final grid starts, get their clutch settings dialed in for the race on Sunday, especially Lando Norris. He's had a bit of a history of getting some bad race starts. But it has been a pleasure commentating to you folks. We've hit 83,000 subscribers today, which is brilliant. But thank you everyone for tuning in. All the support is very much appreciated. Depending on where you are in the world, have a wonderful morning, day, afternoon, evening, or night. I will see you I'll see you tomorrow for the FP3 session, which will be in wet conditions, and then I'll also be commentating qualifying, and I'll also be commentating the 44-lap race we have got on Sunday. I'm going to end today's stream. It'll take you over to the stream on for FP3. If you could hit the like button on tomorrow's stream as well, that would massively help out the channel. I cannot overstate how much it helps out the channel if you hit the like button before the stream actually begins. So it'll take you over to the FP3 stream, and yeah, that'll be that from me. Just once again, another shout out to my Patreons, AJ and Stefan. The link to my Patreon is in the description. You get an exclusive supporters only chat, and also Remy and Multi Ninja. If you guys are interested in getting into this chat with the mods and the supporters and me and all of that, then send me an email. It's gamerf1.yt5@gmail.com. It's also on the about page of YouTube, I think. If you look for it in the link section. But apart from that, thank you everyone for tuning in. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you for FP3 tomorrow. Cheers, fellas.